All right, let's talk about the most ideal way to make this look like it's on this screen. I've got two versions. This one, because it's straight up, will be easy. Here's one that's sideways. So I wanted to kind of show you what it would look like if you're doing a sideways one. So first off, a lot of people, and these are already removed from their background. These were PNG files that didn't have white backgrounds. But if I had a layer mask here, as we know, I could just take it and paint this out and try to do my best job. But I might not make it perfect, okay? And that's what we want to prevent. We want to make it so that this is perfectly going to line up. Your best bet would be to take your rectangular marquee tool. And you could also use a polygon, and I'll use a polygon lasso in a minute. But what you're going to do is you're going to basically line it up with the black edge there, so it's perfectly lined up like so. And then we will paint out her legs. Now, if you have marching ants, it will only allow you to paint within the marching ants. So I can paint up here on her head. It's not going to do anything because I have to be in the marching ants. But as soon as I get down there, bam, it paints it right out. And if I press Control D, it looks like it's straight in there. Okay, so that's one method of doing it. And I could also utilize a different method. Like, for instance, I could use a polygon lasso. So let me click on this other Dora. And of course, you would want to zoom up real close, like obnoxious close. So I could do the same thing here. I could click on the line and just make sure it's straight, you know, and do this way. Now, I could do like I just did on the other one. I could make a layer mask here. Oops, I didn't make the layer mask yet. And that's going to be really mad at me because if I hit the layer mask button here, it's going to make the wrong part disappear. Obviously, I could press Control I on my layer mask and invert it. But anyway, so you could do it this way, right? Or, and this might be a little bit easier, instead of hiding Dora, just take a chunk of this piece. And this is what we've done in the past too. So, you know, I could just take this section here and again, output it to a new layer with a layer mask. You can't see that part of my button down here. New layer with a layer mask and hit OK. And then we've got that little chunk. Oh, I was on the wrong layer. Don't you love when I mess up? Here's this one. Okay, there we go. Select a mask, output, new layer mask. Love being on the wrong layer. Okay, so there we are. And then we're going to move this in front of Dora. And there it is, exactly lined up where it should be. So you want to make sure things look like they belong where they're at. And that's going to involve either using masks, but trying to make sure your mask is perfectly straight. And if it's not perfectly straight, then you have to work with it a little bit. So on this one, you know, if you decided that maybe you drew the marching ants a little bit too low, just, you know, you can scoot it down a little bit to make sure it's lined up perfectly. 1 pixel makes a big difference. Or, and I prefer this method, just take your little chunk and put your chunk in front. But what you don't want to do is try to just guess by painting out. You're best to either put something in front or use a predefined selection area.